Welcome to the Daily Dish with Leanne Ely. This is a show about you, your life, and the vibrancy you want. Join us for daily motivation, wise women's tips, and more as we collectively gather together and move the needle in our lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Now, here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
Hello, here we are at home. How do you like that? Monday, that is absolutely right, Flynn. Good afternoon. Catherine, it's good to see you. Kathy, Nancy, Jocelyn, we're all in the house. How do you like that? Anyway, so it's wonderful to be home. Let me just tell you, there's nothing like sleeping in your own bed, having your dog around and, rattling around in your own cupboards, right? Am I right? So anyway, it was lovely to have everything, just have that trip. And thank you for your patience. All orders went out on Saturday. So we got everything all, situated. Here's our girl, Jackie. Hi, Jackie. Helen, it's good to have you. Alice, appreciate you being here. Of course, the dream team is here. You know who that is, right? We're talking about Jenny, Amber, and Lindsay all in the house. We have Kimberline here as well. Yes, and Deborah. Hello, Lynn. It's nice to have you here. Yes, you did. Nancy's saying, yes, exactly. And she knows. Hi, Gracie. It's so good to have you here. Anyway, so this week is it's going to be busy for Saving Dinner, and it's going to be busy for you if you have if you're coming to our free webinars. I'm talking about tonight. Did you know tonight that we're doing a whole sprint webinar? Well, listen, if you are going to do the sprint or you're going to do the Hot Melt 30, my strong suggestion is you choose a lane, right? The Hot Melt 30 is our 30-day program where we're taking Hot Melt principles and putting them in place, plus a few more things so that you can see how it's not just one thing. It's heart, mind, body, and soul. There's some things that are in place for it. The inspiration came from 75 Hard, which is ridiculous in my opinion. But Hot Melt 30 for women, I think it's a little bit different. I think it's something that's going to really light you up. That's what I suggest you do, especially if you are a veteran of doing the Hot Melt Sprint. That's a strong suggestion you do that. Hey there, Diane and Joanne. I'm glad you're here. Because here's the thing that you need to understand. You can't, we don't want to pile on, but at the same time, you cannot divorce yourself from the rest of your life. And when we can incorporate all the things, well, that's when the magic really super starts to happen. And we just get right on top of everything. So I just want you on top of that, okay? So that's what we have coming up with the sprint. And tonight is the night, savingdinner.com/sprint. Also, by the way, this is for Nancy. Cheers, Nancy. This is for you. What am I drinking? I am drinking the Hot Melt Mix. Have you seen that? Ta-da! That's our Hot Melt Mix. And if you haven't started drinking that yet, I'm just going to mention it's not a special of the week or a special of the week, something different. But it is a mix that helps you to feel better. You know why? Because the electrolytes in it, it helps you stay in ketosis. And it's just what a girl needs right after a vacation. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? Cheers. Mm-hmm. Anyway, this is a good time to do it. This is a piggyback habit for Nancy and for me because I'd forget about it. And so if I just have it with the show, there you go. It's taken care of. So there you are. Oh, let's see. What else do I have to tell you about? Thursday. This Thursday is our gut webinar. You've heard about this, right? The gut webinar that I am doing on this Thursday. Listen, I have got 10 pages of notes in small print just for myself. This is with all the research. That's how crazy it is. The research has changed. And I'm telling you, you've been asking me about this for a long time. I did a gut webinar way back when, and a lot of it's going to be coming over, but the new stuff, it's going to blow you away. savingdinner.com/gut. Go get your seat. Here's the deal. Here's why you want to know and why you want to have this. Because if you have any issues in your life, any kind of health things or any kind of even fatigue, I am telling you, there's going to probably be a gut connection. And don't take that personally. I mean, we all need to be working on our guts. This is something we need to actively be doing all the time. When you're proactive about stuff, you get stuff done. savingdinner.com/gut. Even if you can't make it, get it anyway. Get your seat anyway, so we can send you a brand new. We can send you the link to the webinar. You can see it on replay. I mean, we're not gonna make it so that you don't get it, right? Here is our quote of the week. Don't watch the clock. Do what it does. Keep going. Now, this is Sam Levinson, who died in 1980. He was an American humorist, and but also profound. That's a profound statement because honestly, do we not do that a lot, right? We just kind of stop and just try to figure things out. Not good. What we need to do is take a look and learn from the clock. Let's keep going. We're going to keep going like the clock does. Can't stay stuck. Can't do that. Hey, Vanessa, the new flavor is great. We did change it out. Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate that. Juanita, good to see you. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, and you, by the way, when I give you these URLs, it's savingdinner.com / whatever it is that I'm saying, you can click on them and you can go right over to a new page and sign up while I'm talking. Why not? Q&A's Friday, as you always know. All you have to do is send an email to our customer support team at support@savingdinner.com. Put question for Leanne on Friday in the subject line, and guess what's going to happen? Your question's going to get answered on Friday. So you want to do that. I love it when people send in the questions. They're always interesting, And I love to know what you're thinking about. So if you have anything like that, let me know. We have 2 full bloom events coming up. The first one is on Saturday, April 23rd. I'm really excited about this. It is an all-day event. And let me just tell you right now, the swag bag is ridiculous, is worth the cost of admission. Can I just say that? Plus, it's an all-day event, and boy, do we mix it up, right, ladies? We mix it up. It's going to be really intense. savingdinner.com / bloom. That's how you go get your ticket. And don't forget, we always over deliver on that swag bag. We have special codes, special stuff for all of our attendees. And it's really something. Yeah. Strike while the iron is hard. You're right, Juanita. Exactly. The second one, now that one's all virtual. The second one is in July. We're doing an in-person event. It's also going to stream. So if you can't make it, you can still be a part of it. We don't have the details yet for all of it, but suffice it to say, now's the time to start making plans because airlines, July airline stuff, how that gets, and also accommodations. This is a hotspot, by the way. It is a hotspot, and so our population triples during the summer. So you really need to get on that and get your reservations made. There's all kinds of little hotels, Airbnbs, etc. Meet up with your girls. It's going to be fun. And we really have a good time. We have not done an in-person event in 3 years. So can I just tell you how exciting we all are? It's going to be a great time. And one last thing I want to mention is that airports-wise, you can fly into Asheville, you can fly into Charlotte, North Carolina, or last but not least, of course, you can fly into Greenville, South Carolina, not North Carolina, South Carolina if you want, and just get a car and drive. I can't wait to meet you, Lynn. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so glad. I mean, I know a lot of women are coming, and it's just going to be really, 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 really amazing and fun. The last thing I have to tell you about, of course, is our text message thingy, SMS list. I had to ask what SMS is. Short messaging system. Did you know that? That's what it means. But anyway, it's text messages. That's all it is. If you text this word join, all in caps, to 855-960-3720, you get added to the list. That's how it happens. But there's one little hitchy. When we send back a message, you need to reply back and just confirm. And that's just saying yes. And we're it. Hi, Kay. Hi, Carla, too, by the way. I am in Brevard, North Carolina. That's where I am. Surprise. Good to see you, by the way. All right. That's what we have for today. The only thing left that I have to tell you about is our show. We always have specials of the week. And guess what we have this week? Digestzymes and glycozyme. So digestzymes are just like, this is what you're going to eat when you have steak, right? You know how steaks feel like they just landed in the bottom of your stomach like a big thud, like a brick? Not anymore. Digestzymes will help you take it down. We lose our digestive capabilities after the age of 35, and it just gets worse as we get older. Unless we're going to chew our bites up to 30 times. Do you do that? I don't do that. Nobody does that. That's how we get those digestive enzymes going. And it goes all the way down, every little, we have sphincters right here, right here, right here. Yeah, they are. And then the glycozyme is a digestive enzyme, but also has the capability of bringing your sugar levels down. So if you have any kind of insulin resistance or diabetes or anything like that, this is the one to go. You can get both. I use both. Can I just tell you something? And I'm just throwing it out there, just kind of philosophy-wise. I think digestive enzymes are so important that in our little product offering, we don't have a big catalog of supplements. I've got 2 different ones. That's how important they are. You're going to find out how important digestive enzymes are on our webinar on Thursday. I live and breathe by them. They're in my purse. They're on my countertop. You have to have it. You feel like you're Sharon, that's because it is. I hate to say it. Isn't that stink? Your digestion is getting worse. And listen, if we don't digest, guess what happens? First of all, we're going to get a leaky gut for sure, because then what goes in is probably coming out, and other stuff is going in that shouldn't be going in. I'm talking about your gut lining because it's thin. Do you know it's the thickness of half a hair? That's how thick it is. It's not very thick at all. And secondarily, if you are not digesting your food well and extrapolating all those nutrients out, you are in a perpetual nutrient deficiency. No wonder there's cravings. No wonder there's skin allergies. No wonder there's all of this stuff. That's how important digestive enzymes are. So keep that in mind. And now's the time. Buy 3, get 1 free. savingdinner.com/show to go get them. Okay? That's what I have to say about that. So all this week, peristalsis in the esophagus. Yeah. Yes, it is. But there's also a sphincter there too, Kathy. There's peristalsis all the way down. So here's the other thing this week. What we're working on this week is flipping the switch. I love that, because flipping the switch is just like, man, when the lights go on. When the lights go on, I'm telling you, and you know what happens when the lights go on. When the lights go on, you can see, you have clarity. You can see where the bedpost is so you don't stub your toe. Anyone ever do that? Oh, yes, ma'am, I've done that once or twice in my life. But today we're going to be talking about, just for today, but this whole week, we're going to be talking about flipping the switch on different things, because as you know, I'm massively in love with this whole idea of contrast, because contrast gives us aha moments. Contrast gives us, our brain, an opportunity to say, aha, that's what it is. Not that, this, not that. We can see black and we can see whites. We're babies. That's why we put black and white stuff in kids' cribs, in babies' cribs when they're born, right? So that they can see, so that they can focus on something. And just so we start off like that primitive, tiny baby that's just born, who doesn't have motor reflexes down. That's why they're always moving around. They mature into it. But the very basic first thing, black and white, contrast. And when we flip the switch, we turn on light switches, boy, we go from darkness into light very quickly, don't we? That is why we're talking about this today, because when we flip the switch on mediocrity and start to understand what it is, we can start to change the whole trajectory of what it is that we're doing in our lives. But until we, see what is going on, until we name what it is, we can't really fix anything, can we? So mediocre is the way we might, you've used this term, how was your dinner last night? You heard you went to this new restaurant or whatever. It's mediocre. What does that mean? Are you going to go back? Is this something you're going to recommend to friends? You're going to make a Facebook post on it? You're going to have a picture of your food on Instagram? Probably not. Mediocre doesn't make the cut. Sometimes we see the movie, right? We watch a movie and it's just like, oh man, is this thing ever going to end? Or why does this fight scene have to be so long? That's what I always say to Mark. Why does the fight scene? I mean, die already. Can't that guy just? And why are they always like the real evil guy and the real good guy, kind of James Bondy? Why are they always on some like hanging off a plane or a ladder or a container that's being hoisted by a crane, right? That's always the case. That's always the case. Why are they always doing that, right? Why are they always doing that? But, we see tons of movies and it's just, it's mediocre. It's not something we're going to ever watch again or recommend. And even a job you've ever hired out. I remember we had a guy come and do some work in the back, just kind of clearing the decks out and we had all this underbrush and what have you. And at first it looked like, oh, it's pretty good. Yeah, great. They missed a whole area, They missed a whole area. Or you've hired, I used to have a kid come and mow my lawn and he'd forget to blow or edge or whatever. And it's a mediocre job. Nobody wants to pay for mediocrity. Do you? I don't. So you want somebody who takes pride in what they do and does the work for you excellently. Am I right? But we're going to get further into this because I think sometimes we need to turn the lens inward and take a look. And I'm not asking you to be critical of yourself. I'm asking again for analysis. Analysis is not paralysis when we're used correctly. But the dictionary defines mediocre, get this, as merely adequate. I don't know about you. I don't want a merely adequate life. I want an amazing life. Listen, if I've been called by purpose and for purpose, if I am fearfully and wonderfully made, is merely adequate enough? Is it? So the dictionary says mediocre is merely adequate, ordinary, second-rate or moderate to low quality, value, ability, or performance. Oh, gosh, that just makes me sad, isn't it? How sad. Okay, so we have that. So, but I think that what happens with mediocrity, I don't think we ever really study it and say, oh, well, this is just mediocre when we're looking at our own lives. Maybe if we're going to a restaurant or a movie or, the lawn guy. But I think we look at, we see ourselves settling as maybe a little bit. You ever consider that? Think about it this way. Think about all the diets you've ever been on, right? And what are the complaints? Well, first of all, usually they have a nutrient deficiency going on with them because they're, really limiting a bunch of stuff, or they have no flavor in them. And there's never that happy medium of like, this is great food, I enjoy eating it, and it's nutrient dense. No, we settle for mediocre. We eat that cardboard food. We buy the lean cuisines, garbage, and we think that mediocre is going to be okay because it's going to help us with whatever it is that we're looking at. It's insanity. We also think of this. This is man, I felt really convicted about this one, but lots of doing, but not accomplishing. So I looking around my office and I got a lot done, but I haven't accomplished the end goal of having a wonderfully organized office and decorated the way I want. Not quite. I stopped in the midst of getting it done. I got enough done so that I could have, some semblance of sanity, but not enough so that I have what I want. It's a mediocre office, and I spend a lot of time here. What's up with that? There's also this fear of maybe standing out. God forbid we should stand out or somebody put their attention on you, right? Do you understand that? It's pretty interesting. When we do that, we find ourselves in the place of constantly maybe putting ourselves down, putting ourselves aside, not using our voice, maybe. And what does that lead to except mediocrity? Where does that lead us to the place of excellence, or does it lead us to the place of just settling for a whole lot less? I don't know. And then there's also that fear of what they will think. Who is they, by the way? Anyone? I don't even know. Who cares in the first place? And secondarily, when we are caring what everybody else thinks, we're not really paying attention to our own stuff, and therefore our settling becomes mediocre. Think about that. That's really true. That is really true. And also, we like to bring into this whole thing, well, it's not my fault. There's a blame game that we play. It's him, it's her, it's my genes, it's my job, it's my house, it's my parents. It's always someone's fault, right? It's my childhood trauma is a big one right now, right? And I'm convinced that every single parent on this planet has inflicted some kind of childhood trauma because we're just not perfect, That's just what it happens. So while the dictionary's definition is helpful, I'm going to take you on a little Latin lesson. I remember when my kids took Latin when they were homeschoolers, right? It's going to floor you because the Latin derivative of the whole thing is a slap you upside the head kind of a thing. It's a cosmic 2x4 in kind of a like gulp kind of a way. But you know what? Don't we need this sometimes? Because I'm not here to beat you up. I'm here to make you look. That's all. Look. Because we can't, tippy toe around and pretend it doesn't exist. We can't pretend that we're doing stellar jobs when it's just not happening, right? We can't pretend that this is all fabulous and we've got this whole thing wired for sound when we don't. And listen, we are not going to have it wired for sound until we're on the other side of glory, by the way, because we are all about excellence, not perfection. Excellence. There's a big difference. So here is what you have from Latin. This is going to make you do one of these. First is medi, meaning middle, and then ocris, meaning rugged mountain. Here we go. Literally translated, mediocrity means this: to settle halfway to the summit of a difficult mountain. To settle halfway to the summit of a difficult mountain. I mean, use your life for that one if you want to. I mean, because does anybody have a cakewalk of a life? I don't know. A compromise of abilities and potential. A negotiation between the drive to excel and get this, here it is. You ready? Put on your seatbelts. And the biological urge to settle for the most comfortable option. Boom, bapa, boom, bapa, boom. It made my head fly right off my shoulders today. I looked at that and I said, yep, that is always the case, right? We look for the most comfortable thing. We look for the easiest thing. That is our thing. We're not out there going, give me the hard stuff. We're out there saying, what's the easiest way? How do we do this? How do we shortcut it? Where's the hack? We want hacks these days. We want hints. We want tricks and tips. And there's nothing wrong with that along the way. But when it is our lives that are at stake, and here we are on that difficult mountain, and we sit there in the middle, unwilling to go the extra mile, unwilling to take the next step because we're looking for the most comfortable option. When we're negotiating between the drive to excel and the comfort of sitting on our butts, there it is, mediocrity all over. Now, Jim Collins, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's a business author. One of the books that I read, I only read one of his books, is Good to Great. And this was something that just opened my eyes about, having a business and what it was all really about. This is in the early 2000s, I believe. But he also wrote and did research for another book called Great by Choice. And listen to this. He says, we've found in our research, and there was thousands and thousands of participants in this research, that the signature of mediocrity is not an unwillingness to change. The signature of mediocrity is inconsistency. Doesn't that make so much sense? I think that's so interesting. And chronic inconsistency, you know what that is, right? It's going to give you chronic mediocre results. So when we move the needle in our lives, and I'm talking about anything, I'm talking about from the needle the reading between your toes when you get up in the morning on the scale. I'm talking about anything, your parenting, your spousing, is that a word? How you are at work, how you are as a friend, how you fit into the community, your contribution as a human being. It's consistency that breaks the back of mediocrity every single time with every single thing. That's a little truth bomb I'm dropping right there for you, by the way. So, think about this. I was thinking about, well, so how does that apply? I was thinking about all the things. And what I did when I got home, first thing I did when I got home was, we're in a dry, doors have been shut. And so the humidity in here has been kind of dry. All my houseplants needed water. Well, I want my houseplants to stay green and pretty. And it doesn't happen if they don't get watered consistently. I do it once a week. So it was just in time. I did it just as I left. I did it just as I came home to consistently keep these plants alive. And by the way, I am a consistent plant keeper aliver. I've had these plants for years and years and years, mostly rescued from the Home Depot. This is flash sale kind of thing, right? So you have to water the consistency. If you want muscles in your own age, which, I've been ragging about that one on you, haven't I? Given you enough of that one? Well, if you want muscles as you age, then you got to build them. And it doesn't happen in a day. It happens over time, consistently. So put up your dukes and start getting going, right? You start now. Lift weights. Lift heavy things. You want great health? Well, you're going to have to dial in your food. You have to dial in your sleep, hydrate, move, manage your stress consistently. Consistently. It's a demand in order to break the back of mediocrity. So when we stir the pot on this concept of the mediocrity trap, because what else is in that trap? The comfort zone, right? So here's some things to stop settling. Stop settling for less. We don't have to be perfectionists at all. We have to be women driven by excellence in all that we do, in everything that we pursue, so we can have the vibrant lifestyle that we want. It's really not that difficult. The consistency part, harder. I will give you that. Not as easy as it seems, but there are ways in which we can get to that. And the first one is acknowledging the fear, because there's fear involved in all of this. It's not known. What's known is our comfort zone. What's known is the stuff that we know. But remember when we talked about the fear fence and how the fear fence is something that in our mind, we've created this thing that looks like it's around Rikers Island, It's just like this massive thing with towers and, attack dogs, machine guns and watchtowers, razor wire. And really the fear fence is just this rickety old thing that we all have in our lives. We just give the fear way too much credence. We need to step away and allow the fear to live side by side. Everybody needs to have their fear fence brought down to size. That's right. So you don't have to be fearless. You just have to acknowledge the fear. That's it. Acknowledge the fear and decide, I'm going to do this anyway. Amazing what happens when that happens. That is breaking the back of mediocrity right there, because it's saying that, no, you, my amygdala, need to take a seat and I am going to go forward, right? This is why we name our amygdalas. It's a powerful thing to do. When we name our amygdalas, we're telling our amygdalas who's in charge, and it's not the most primitive part of our brains. I like that. And remember, number 2, the comfort zone. The comfort zone is one of the greatest traps around, because that's our natural tendency is to seek comfort. This is how we get addicted to stuff, by the way, from food to booze to gambling to name that tune. We get addicted because we're constantly looking for comfort, make ourselves feel better. Well, sometimes we need to allow the discomfort of the change of whatever we're doing and allow that change to be the new comfort. We can. And you know what this is, though, when we let go of the comfort zone? It is an invitation to live our lives in a vibrant way, to live the life we have never dreamed of before, maybe yet. But it's an invitation also to see what's possible. The what if question. Remember that one? It's hugely powerful. And number 3 is that we need to take inspired action daily. I love the idea of inspired action because there's a lot of doing that's just spinning of your wheels. We don't need spinning of our wheels doing. We need doing, right? Get it done. Do the do. Get it done. And when that doing that you're doing, inspired doing, is inspired by daily action that is inspired by goals, the vibrant vision that you have for your life, the where you want to land kind of stuff. And that's your focus, you're going to be consistent and you're going to, again, beat down that whole idea of mediocrity. Excuse me. And the last one is to have your own voice. Number 4, can I just tell you something? If you don't speak up for your life, if you don't speak up for yourself of what it is that you want, if you're not using your voice and going along to get along, you don't have anything except mediocrity and somebody else's, lukewarm, watered down version of what your life should look like. You gotta have a voice in your own life. You have to, not go along to get along. Way back when I first started this business, it was actually 2000, but 2001, in January 2001 is when my website came out. And when the website came out, I was the first one to have menu mailer, made that name up. And, I was working like a dog. My mother was my first customer service rep, and she was helping me put the menus. I'd do the recipes. She'd do the menus for me. I was paying her. It worked out, really great. But it was just my mom and I for the very longest time. Worked my tail off. And then when I had my radio show in Los Angeles, it was a lot because I was working full time there. And then I'd come home and I'd work into the wee hours of the night. And I was still doing some freelance writing. So it was just like, it was kind of wackadoodle and homeschooling the kids. So that was what was all going on at that time. But what really ground me to just down was watching all these Me Too people. All of a sudden, all these menu planning sites started showing up. And guess what they named their product? Menu Mailer. And I thought, can't they get a little more original? I made this name up. Can't they come up with something else? They needed to have their own voice. Be original. Be authentic. Be the woman of your own dreams, and don't manufacture it out of someone else's. Because then what are you except a cheap copy? Be the woman that you want to be. Be the woman, step into that, break the back of mediocrity and decide, I'm going forward. I'm going to be exactly who it is that I want to be, because no one's holding you back. We live in a free country, We live in a free country. We don't have all of the garbage that's going on in some of these other places where, they don't have a voice and they can't have an opinion and there's no free press and blah, 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 blah. Let's be original. Let's be our own content curators, if you will, of our own thing, and call it the original thing. Call yourself the original, whatever, the original Lucy Hayes, the original Andrea Clifford, right? The originals. Because there is no duplicate just like you. There is no one else in this world who has your voice, your perspective, and your incredible unique spin on what it is and to show up in the world as yourself. When we do that, we are effectively breaking the back of mediocrity because we have been brave enough and courageous enough to show up and be ourselves. Sarah's a first edition Sarah Preston. And aren't you thankful for that? I am. Super grateful for that. We can't keep looking and seeing and comparing ourselves to everybody else. Freaking mediocre all the way. What is genuine, authentic, true, and real is the true you, who shows up and steps up even when it's risky, even when it's hard, even when it's sometimes inconsistent, but you're going to do it anyway, because that is what gets you out of that grip of mediocrity. And I don't know about you, but that's what I want in my life. How else do you get to vibrancy, right? Isn't that the truth? Anyway, well, I hope you found that interesting. I sure did, especially that Latin stuff. Come on. Don't you love it with the rugged mountain being the metaphor for life? Good grief. Now tonight, don't forget, at 7 p.m. Eastern is our Hot Milk Sprint webinar. If you haven't been in a while, I've changed it up. Yes, I have. And even if you're doing the Hot Milk 30, come on. If you're doing the Hot Milk 30, still come, because those principles are the same principles that you're going to take into Hot Milk 30. Seriously. Go to savingdinner.com/sprint, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you tonight. How's that? Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Check back for new episodes. If you missed the live show, you can always watch the replay. You can find Saving Dinner on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, pinkies up.